Hello everyone, this is Yogita from Happiness Root Foundation. We are back with our International Women's Day Special Edition Women Accolades. This is my honor. Today I'm interviewing Sreedevi Devireddy, who is an innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem enabler with 26 years of experience in various domains. She is an alumni of IIM-K and also Chevening Research and Innovation Fellow of Oxford University, UK. So she have held positions of Director of Venture Development Centers in Geetham University. She's the founding CEO of SRIX and also an Executive Director of TIE Hyderabad. She have received awards of the National Entrepreneurship Award in the year 2019 by Government of India, also received the Pride of Telangana in 2018 by Times of India and Government of Telangana. Professional affiliations are many. Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, AP and Telangana, she is a second vice chairman. She is the chairman of Women Economic Empowerment Forum, like this is her present role. And she is also Federation of Asian Biotech Association, she is the executive committee member there. She's a mentor of change in Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, and also an academic council member 2018-19 in MSME Department of Government of India. Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
It's my honor to interview you today. So, can you tell about your journey? You have received a lot of accolades and also been doing great in entrepreneurship world and the startup ecosystem. Can you brief about your journey so far?
Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me today. I would say my desire to enable the entrepreneurship came from the fact that when I was an entrepreneur, when I started my entrepreneurial journey, there were not many systems in place which support us or enable us. So we entrepreneurs used to face a lot of issues. We didn't know where to go, whom to seek support. A lot of things happened. As expected, my entrepreneurial journey didn't last even 3 years. I had to shut down my business. This is way back in 2001 to 2003. So I always felt at some point in my life I should help entrepreneurs. So that's where this journey started around 10-12 years ago. Then not only in my core main role which I had in various entities, whether it is TIE, whether it is SRIX, or whether it is Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, wherever I am, I try to enable startups in whatever way I can. I mentor startups on marketing strategy. I connect them to the right people based upon their need. I would say it is a joy enabling startups or enabling startup founders. That joy is unparalleled, and I don't think it's work or I don't think I've achieved a lot, but I just think that's my way of giving back in a small way.
What motivated you to enable entrepreneurs? Like, what was that one thing in you which you faced that you felt that the upcoming entrepreneurs should not go through this?
It takes a village to raise a child. You must have heard about this saying. An entrepreneur is the sum total of all the ecosystem elements present. The success of an entrepreneur is the sum total of all the support he gets from the ecosystem. So you just don't provide them any support, you don't provide them any mentorship, you don't provide her any funding options or other things needed, but you expect them to flourish, you expect them to succeed. It's not gonna happen, right? So what I didn't have was an ecosystem. So even today, not just entrepreneurial ecosystem, whether it is electronics ecosystem, whether it is semiconductor ecosystem, whether it is biotech ecosystem, I believe in being an enabler in building ecosystems. ecosystem itself is a family. Uh, Every entrepreneur should have a family which understands them. This is my take on things. This one thought that I'm being the family member of this startup founder gives me a lot of satisfaction and a lot of motivation to go forward.
Okay. And there is a saying called as women are a natural leaders. So, do you agree to that point?
No, I think men or women leadership is gender agnostic. I won't say women are natural leaders, but I would say women are more empathetic than men. That's all.
Okay. So, multitasking often women is glorified. So, do you believe in multitasking?
Um, I believe in multitasking, but I also would say men are also multitasking. It's not just the women who are multitasking, right? I personally have seen my father, I've seen my brother, I've seen my best friends who happen to be men doing too many things. They are also multitasking. But that said, yes, multitasking in general, whether it's men or women, has become the norm today, I would say. But yeah, because we take care of the kids as well, for us multitasking becomes all the more crucial, and it becomes actually very difficult also to balance so many elements parallel.
Okay. So, like as you mentioned, you started your journey way back in 2001. So, any kind of a, like, what kind of difficulties did you face? Like, did you get a proper support from your family, or women in business then and women in business today has a lot of difference. Things have changed where female founders are getting equal support as male, which was not back in the day. So, what kind of difficulties did you face?
Well, even now the same difficulties do exist, but I would say the degree has reduced.
Okay.
Even today, I've seen women facing challenges at home front. Like your own father will say, uh, हम लोगों से ही नहीं हो रहा है business करना, आप why do you want to go? I have seen fathers say, we are not able to do, being men, we are not able to do businesses. Why do you want to go? If at all you want a career, just go work under somebody just 9 to 5 and come back, something like that. It used to be there then also, it is there now also, but the degree has little bit, I mean, maybe in those days, almost all the 100% fathers used to be like that. Now I would say around 70% fathers are like that, or brothers are like that, or husbands are like that. Why fathers, brothers, husbands? Mothers never support. Mothers all the more will say, no, you go, you manage your family, you have your kids, you just manage your house. Why do you want to do all this? I've seen in general family support then was very dismal. Now it is little better, but it's not there. Even now we have a long way to go to see enough number of women founders in the ecosystem.
Okay. Any sacrifices did you make to reach the level which you are today? Because the awards, the kind of awards which you have received, and the kind of work which you have done in couple of your past positions, that requires a lot of dedication. So definitely it's give and take, right? Like there is not a right balance between handling a family and also a work. Uh, Personally, I face a lot of issues in work-life balance. So any kind of significant sacrifices you had to make in your journey?
I would like to I would like to say something like, I don't think any of us make any sacrifices for anything.
Okay.
It's just prioritizing certain things over other things. I would like to see in that way. Uh, for example, I did give, I sometimes feel guilty that I have given very less time to my daughter when she was growing up. Maybe if I was a homemaker, I would have given her more time. That's a theory I have. But maybe I won't have. We don't know. Even if I'm a homemaker, maybe I would have got immersed myself in some other work or some other engagement and not given enough time to her. We don't know. We just assume that we would have given more time than what we have given. I used to take her for badminton early in the morning at 5:30. I used to sit in the stadium. I used to do my walk or other things and bring her back from badminton stadium to home. And then after she gets ready, I used to drop her in the bus stop to get into her school bus. Then I used to come back home, get ready, and then go to office. In between cooking meals and other things, packing tiffin boxes, all this used to happen somewhere in between. I wouldn't say I made a sacrifice, but I would definitely say it was hard. We had to prioritize a lot of things, which which are hard decisions. Uh, we women mostly prioritize others over us, whether it is our own kids, our own husband, our family, it can be in laws, it can be our parents. We prioritize everybody but for us. So I think that is the sacrifice I made all these years. But yes, now is the time when my daughter is grown up, I have reached a certain point in career, I'm prioritizing myself. Or I'm prioritizing myself equally with my family members. I'll put it that way. But during your growing stages, invariably every woman gives zero priority to herself. Almost every woman I know has done that.
Right. So prioritizing self-love, as you mentioned, which you're doing it right now, boosts your self-confidence, self-esteem. What is your thought on that?
I agree totally with that. More than anything, you be healthy, you'll be happy. So you being healthy, you being happy will reflect in the rest of the house, in rest of the family members. But somehow we don't understand that and we neglect our health, we neglect our happiness quotient, and we focus on others.
How do we cut down on the negativities? Like, for example, if a woman has to step out of a home, she has to face family, she has to face society. She also, to a point, has to face her own husband to be convinced, that at, I mean, I don't know, like she has to convince about her dreams, her passions, or something to others. So, how to, break all of those barriers and, just step out? What kind of message you would like to give to today's women?
I think today's women are more fortunate, and I don't think that many barriers are there. That said, in tier 2, tier 3 towns, barriers are still there versus tier metros. I do agree. Fortunately, I've lived in the metro in Hyderabad all my life, so the barriers were little less compared to other places. But yes, I think stepping out of the house or pursuing your career or chasing your dreams, this barrier is something we have to navigate with perseverance, with love, with care, with all our communication skills, trying to explain this to our family members. But let me tell you something, this barrier is very, very, very small compared to the mammoth barriers we face in workforce, the mammoth barriers we face in business when you're a businesswoman. Those barriers, they were there 20 years ago when I started business, and even today they are there. It's just that they are camouflaged, or they look like they're not there, but they are there. Those barriers are the most difficult part, not the barriers in the household.
Can you name few of the barriers in the journey, like at least in the business or in corporate world?
Yeah, see, after 27 years of work, it's unfortunate that I would say that even today there is a huge disparity as far as the pay packets are concerned. For the same qualified person, different gender. There's a huge disparity in the way women in general, whether they are mid-level managers or high-level managers, or they are in the executive vice president level, the same person, if the person is of another gender, the way he's treated or the way she's treated, there's a huge disparity. It's just there's a camouflage showcasing that there's no disparity. But let me tell you, the disparities are very deep rooted and they're very much there.
Okay, so in interview processes for a female, like certain questions are asked, like whether you're getting married or whether you are planning for your family or anything. It could be anything, whatever. Like, do you aspire for your higher studies or are you planning to take any gaps or something like that? So, do you feel like these questions kind of demotivate or loses, like, kind of make them feel little inferior, something like that? Because I have seen many of the girls or a female going through these kind of questions in their interviews, despite they are very much eligible for their job.
I'll give you a nice example here. This is just 10, 12 years ago. I already had a grown up daughter. I just went for a very senior role into an organization. For this was the final interview with the founder of the company. A well respected person of Hyderabad. I don't want to name the company nor the person. So, the last question, please, he said. Don't mind, Amma. I would like to know more. Are you planning to have your second child very soon?
Okay.
His first question was, tell me about your family. In that, I anyway explained about my family and about my daughter, things like that. Are you planning to have your second child very soon? I think that's a very private question, and I don't think anybody has the right to ask that question to any woman. And I felt if I am facing this at this stage of my life, just imagine the young girls who are coming into workforce, what all questions they must be going through. Anyway, that's a different story. What answer I gave that guy, and forget joining them. I didn't even bother to answer calls of the HR of that company after that interview because I don't want to be part of that kind of culture, that kind of organization. Since then till today, I have conducted so many interviews in my life. I have never ever made it a conscious effort not to ask such questions to women. I have never seen any of my brothers or my colleagues, male colleagues, going to an interview and being questioned, when are you going to get married, or when are you going to have your first child, when are you going to have your second child, or when are you planning to do something else. I never saw any guy being questioned on those lines.
Right.
Why should we be questioned on those lines?
Exactly. So
These questions itself demotivate a girl.
exactly.
So you feel belittled, you feel demotivated.
What is your advice to those girls who are facing these kind of questions? Like, first of all, as you mentioned, you just declined an offer, or you didn't even.
I didn't bother to answer the calls of that company.
Exactly. So, like, is it? I mean, this is everywhere, right? So, how do you face this kind of things? Like, I mean, of course, you had this choice of declining an offer and taking something good, or whatever it could be the situation.
Please have thick skin.
Okay.
I would say all the girls down there, please have thick skin. Life is very long. You'll encounter many such people, many such situations. If you get demotivated for every single thing, your life is nothing but only demotivation left.
Right. I have seen some women who are facing a lot of domestic violence in their community, or anything it could be, like from their husband or from their in-laws or from their parents, or anything it could be. But they are strong leaders outside. I mean, what kind of psychological difference they have in them that they are not able to save themselves from the violence which is going on? It can also be a situation of dowry, or it can also be a situation of all this child marriages and all such things which are happening in some of the communities even today. So, why is that psychological difference in them that they are able to deal a number of things in corporate world, but they're not able to do, do justice for themselves, basically?
No. It's not that. I would say going through suppression at home front is a different story altogether. Society plays a major role here. So, India, whatever we call it, very progressed country now. Developing countries say it is becoming a developed nation, things like that. Still, societal stigma plays a major role. A woman without a man behind her, it has to be the father, brother, husband, son, then only you have that respect of society. Most of the places, I won't say everybody's like that, but that is, I don't know what the women you were referring to are going through. I'm based on my experience about life. Many women are going through abusive or um, uh, loveless relationships because of the societal stigma or the societal pressure. Pressure is what I understand. I don't know the internal stories, but most of the time that is the case. For the sake of children, for the sake of society, they just keep quiet.
They should raise their voice for themselves, right?
I think they should raise their voice for themselves, but we are nobody to judge that. So they have decided not to raise. It's their choice.
How can we empower that kind of communities?
See, any advice will not. See, if somebody is hungry, you can give food. You can satiate their hunger. If somebody is in need of help or need of support, then only you can give. They should seek it. They are not seeking it. Because you yourself said they are empowered outside the house.
Correct.
So they are not seeking it. They don't need it. They decided to resign to that life. So how can you change that?
That is there, but this is going to affect the economy of India, right? Like there should be a like as in my own organization, we still have this gender gap, like 1:3. Like for 3 male, there is 1 woman. So how are we going to solve this problem? It has become a significant problem where women participation in everything is overall less, and all these demotivation factors are not adding up to the Indian economy. So how, as a startup innovator and enabler, as you said, you're going to support the system or bring in a bit of change here?
See, there is a change happening already. Women coming back to work is being encouraged. Whether it is maternity, whether it is marriage, whether it is any sickness, women coming back to work is definitely encouraged nowadays. People are coming back.
Okay.
That said, I know a fraction or I know a segment of women who don't want to work. They're happy not working. That doesn't mean they are made a doormat in the house. They are happy not working. So we should respect that.
Okay.
So in the workforce, 50% women ratio, according to me, is a myth. We don't need to chase that myth.
Okay.
The reason being, women have more roles to play. For example, banks and schools, the ratio is more than 50%. So we are not questioning that, right? There may be some fields where the women ratio will be less. In factories, in certain factories, I may want to hire women, but qualified women for those roles are not available. How am I going to hire them? So the ratio will be less. It will be 30% is a decent number. So I don't want to fall into this race of 50% women, 50% women. Let's have them and have not so qualified people or not so interested people fill in the roles. That's also not a solution.
Okay. So according to you, we can never fill that gap. Like it's always.
It depends on the industry. My point is, you have already filled the gap in banking. Why are you not recognizing it? You have already filled the gap in education system. Almost all all colleges, all universities, all schools have more than 50% women as lecturers or faculties or teachers. Then why are you not recognizing it? In Hyderabad, most of the school principals are women, maybe 75%.
Okay.
Why are we not recognizing that?
Okay.
My point is that.
Okay.
You take nurses. How many male nurses do you see are there? How much percentage of male nurses are there? What do you think?
It's a very small ratio.
Very small ratio. We have crossed that gap. Based on the vocation, based on the sector, the ratio may be less. It's okay. What we should focus on is the decent work opportunities, the right to equal opportunities for women who actually want to work.
Exactly. So,
Right to decent work opportunities.
okay. On that note, do you want to comment on the fake feminism? Like, today, the fake feminism has become prominent where, the actual deserving candidates are also facing that kind of a heat, where women are trying to make use of these rights and, kind of using it in a very negative way. There is a posh policy in corporate which is being used in a very negative way to, kind of impact the careers of male or something like that. So, do you want to comment on that? Like,
Unfortunate, but that's the reality today. Anybody who's having an only women organization or anything else, I stay away because I'm scared. I myself am scared about this fake feminism happening, this stereotyping happening, this lot of things are happening. I just don't want to go deeper into it. I personally think if somebody's asking for equal rights, if somebody's asking for equal status, it should be fair. It should not be like you're not worth it, but you want equal rights or equal opportunity. For those things, we should fight.
okay. Do you believe in skill based education? Like, since you are also an educationist and you are in this, creating an ecosystem. So, do you believe in skill based education?
It's high time India moves into skill based education. Unfortunately, what we study during our degrees are not what we do during our work. We have to go through another course which actually equips us with the skill, and then we have to get into workforce. That's the unfortunate scenario today in India. Given the demographic dividend of our country, the sooner we focus more on skill based education, we'll be more, I would say we'll be sooner an economic power to reckon with than what we are going to be now.
Okay. So, any advice to female founders? Like, they are competing with, again, as you mentioned, there is nothing called as gender for a founder or something like that. Anyone can find a, like, create a company, create an organization, an ecosystem to go about with a great idea. So, any advice to them?
I would say female founders of various startups to forget that they're the female founders. Just focus on you're the founders of the startup. Of course, there are some facilities available by the government or some other entities which are for female founders. Good for us. Have confidence in yourself, upskill yourself continuously. Don't stop that. That's the only thing that is going to save you in the long run.
Can you highlight, like, can you give us some highlights on the mental well being of a female in a family?
As I told you earlier, any woman puts herself last compared to the rest of the family. It's important to have self-love. It's important to focus on your health, your physical health and your mental health. Automatically the rest of the family will be happy and healthy. Somehow we do the reverse. We focus on everybody else than ourselves. It's high time women focus on themselves.
Also, one more component to add, like, usually what I have seen is, if women have given, like, if women is excelling in their career and doing great, I've seen ego popping up. So, according to me, ego is a distraction. What do you feel?
Ego popping up from the person himself or herself.
Yeah, ego popping up from himself or herself.
Don't you think ego again is gender agnostic? I have seen many men with very large ego.
Yeah.
So I think ego is not men or women. Uh, it can happen to anybody, and in general, we as human beings, you decide to be grounded or you don't get carried away with success you get, little success you find or the larger success you find. It's a choice people make and it's their nature. I don't think it has anything to do with women or men.
Exactly.
Ego is a bad thing, we all know that.
Yeah.
But and sometimes ego hurts your business also in the long run. So you have to be careful about it. But that's gender agnostic.
Exactly. One more thing I want to ask is that I have seen in some communities or in some ecosystems where women are pulling down, like woman is pulling a woman down. So, as a woman fraternity or something like that, where we are already having so many challenges to deal with and to, kind of make our mark, do you feel that women should support each other and, move forward?
I always envy men for one thing. You know what? That's the sense of brotherhood. I think it's high time women start developing the sense of sisterhood, help each other, be each other's mentor, be each other's champion, angel, you can call it buddy system, whatever you want to call it. I myself am mentoring 6 women founders as we speak. The jealousy quotient should be on men, not with another woman. The day that happens, I think women founders ecosystem will be something unstoppable. I have also seen what you're telling me, but that said, the same is there in men also. It's just that it's not highlighted.
Exactly.
There are many men who pull other men down, but it's not highlighted. Here, everybody tries to highlight what women are doing, that's all. But yeah, the sense of sisterhood, if we can bring, we can create ecosystems, we can create bonds between each other. I think women founders will be a very strong force to reckon with.
Okay. So, since you're in a startup ecosystem and all such things, can you name some of the policies or incubation centers which women can utilize for their growth if they are willing to do any business?
Again, I'm gender agnostic here. I'm sure you must be finding this interview very strange because I personally think if they find an incubation center which is supporting and which is in sync with the domain or the sector they belong to, just go. Just don't wait for some other incubation center which caters to only women. That said, our state has a women incubation center as well, incubation center for women founders as well. I don't deny it, but I personally think whether it's incubation or whether it is an angel network you're approaching, or whether it is founders, VC, venture capitalists you're approaching, or any other entity which is an enabler you're approaching, approach with confidence, approach with what you what value you're bringing to the table. Don't focus too much on who is offering something, which women based incubator do I need to go, or which women based fund I need to approach, or which women based VC I need to approach. I just think at least in the metros that situation shouldn't be there. Tier 2, tier 3 towns, if they have any problem because of their gender, maybe they can think about it.
Okay. Can you name few of the policies or anything which Government of India have made for the startup ecosystem, specifically for females?
Mm. Niti Aayog has a women entrepreneurship platform. We call it WEP, Government of India's entity. That is, I think they are doing amazing, commendable job. In Government of Telangana, we have Government of Telangana sponsored VHub, Women Entrepreneurs Hub. WE means Women Entrepreneurs Hub. They are also doing commendable job. I don't think there are few women focused angel investors, quite a few, and there are few entities, industry bodies like CII, IWIN, or some industry bodies which have a women's wing, Fiki Flow, things like that, who do small initiatives which are focused on women. There is support. It's not that there's no support. But that said, I would still advocate women not to bend towards only women entities. Instead, be in a neutral ground and learn from others and grow your business.
Okay. So, what would be, like, this is the last question of this interview. What would be your advice to today's generation to balance a family as well as to take up their dreams and also build a good business?
I'm not sure I'm qualified to advise, but I would just say believe in yourself, persistence. Nothing pays as much as persistence. You'll be there. It may take few months more, few years more, but you'll be there. Believe in yourself.
That was a very good note to end. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this with us. We would like to have a quick rapid fire. So, in that, I'll tell one word and maybe you can say whatever comes to your mind.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right. Baby,
My daughter.
empowerment,
Right to choose.
Nari Shakti,
Yourself.
startup,
The current startup I'm working in, ASIP Technologies.
okay. What do you feel about angel investors?
Angels.
Money,
Don't chase it.
pride,
Never lose it.
honor,
Never lose it.
self-esteem.
There's no limit for it.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this with us. It was an honor to interview you, and we will definitely make sure that this reaches maximum people and it be a tool to motivate people who really want to get into this business and all such things. So, thank you so much again for doing this with us.
Thank you.